My fiancé announced, I want a prenup. I'm not risking my future on you. I nodded. Smart thinking. We'd been together 3 years. Her name was Lacey. She was an associate at a boutique PR firm in Midtown, 29, ambitious in a way that needed an audience. I was a librarian, a children's librarian specifically. I read picture books to 3-year-olds for a living. I wore cardigans. I drove a 2011 Honda Civic with a dent in the passenger door from a shopping cart incident. Lacey loved telling people I was sweet and simple. At her work events, she'd introduce me like a zoo animal. This is Prue. She reads to children. Isn't that wholesome? Her coworkers would coo. I would smile. I was raised in the South. Smiling is a weapon. She started the prenup talk 6 months before the wedding. Babe, my lawyer says this is just smart business. I'm on track to make partner in 3 years. I can't risk losing half of that to someone who, no offense, probably won't break 100K until she's 40. I said, no offense taken. You're absolutely right. She lit up every time I agreed. She kept saying, I just love that you're not threatened by my career. She said it so often, I started wondering who she was trying to convince. The appointment was on a Thursday at her lawyer's office. Big glass building, view of Central Park. Her lawyer was a woman named Francesca. Immaculate. Terrifying. Lacey wore her best blazer. She'd bought it for the occasion. She'd told me so. I wore jeans and a cardigan because I am who I am. Lacey went first. She laid out her assets. Her 1-bedroom condo she'd bought with help from her dad, valued around $620,000. Her 401k balance around $85,000. Her leased Audi, a few investment accounts, a ring her grandmother had left her. Total stated net worth around $740,000. She looked smug. Francesca turned to me. She said, Ms. Beauchamp, your disclosures. I handed over my folder. Francesca flipped to the first page. Her face did a small, very professional thing. She flipped to the second page. Her face did a bigger thing. She looked up at me. She looked at Lacey. She said, Ms. Whitmore, before we continue, are you aware of your fiancé's financial situation? Lacey laughed. She's a librarian, Francesca. I've seen her pay stubs. $38,000. It's fine. I'm not taking from her. Francesca said, your fiancé's annual income from her librarian position is indeed $38,000. Her total annual income is approximately $4.2 million. Lacey's face. I wish I could frame it. She said, I'm sorry, what? I said, I write children's books. On the side. Under a pen name. She said, everybody writes children's books, Prue. That doesn't mean, I said, the pen name is Pippa Meadowlark. The color drained out of her face. Pippa Meadowlark, if you don't know, wrote a little picture book series about a hedgehog named Clementine, who runs a tea shop. It's been translated into 34 languages. There's an animated series on a major streaming platform. There's a line of plush toys at Target. I wrote the first one when I was 23, working the night shift at a group home. I've never told anyone at my library. My coworkers know me as Prue, who likes to knit. Lacey had a Clementine mug. I bought it for her for Christmas. I'd signed the inside of the box, Love Pippa, as a joke. She thought I meant Love Prue, with typos. She'd put the mug on Instagram. Francesca kept going, because Francesca is a professional. In addition to royalties, Ms. Beauchamp owns the intellectual property outright. She has a licensing deal projected to pay out approximately $14 million over the next 5 years. She also owns a 70-acre property in upstate New York, a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, and has a trust established for her nieces and nephews of roughly $2.5 million. Net worth conservatively $21 million. Lacey said, and I am quoting, what the F? I said, don't curse in Francesca's office, baby. Lacey said, why didn't you tell me? I said, you never asked. You asked what I did. I told you. I'm a librarian. That's true. She said, you drive a Civic. I said, it runs great. Also, I like it. Francesca, to her eternal credit, said, Ms. Whitmore, given this disclosure, it may be prudent to reconsider the terms of this agreement. Your fiancé has substantially more assets than you. A traditional prenup written to protect your assets would, in this configuration, primarily benefit her. I said, keep it as is. Francesca looked at me. I said, separate property stays separate. Everything I earned before stays mine. Everything she earned before stays hers. No commingling, no alimony, either way. Exactly what she asked for. Lacey said, Prue, wait, baby, let's talk about this. I didn't know. I said, I know you didn't. That's the point, Lacey. You wanted to marry the version of me that made you feel powerful. You wanted a simple, sweet, wholesome librarian in a sabiae meet in sitka. Imain da